Hi y'all, welcome to day 2 of Vlogmas here on Duskwood Farm. My name is Lizzie and these are my ducks. So today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our ducks, what kind of ducks they are, why we picked them, what they do around the farm. This might change when we add other animals, but I would say we get more questions about the ducks than anything else. People are always really curious about them. They are very friendly looking. Some of them are friendlier than others. So I wanted to address some of those questions today. So the first question that I get all the time about the ducks is, do they live with the chickens? And the answer is kind of twofold to that. So I started out housing our chickens and our ducks together. And I found that for my personal livestock management style, I don't prefer that. And we are in the process of moving our chickens into A-frame chicken tractors. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First, ducks are like water fiends. Even our ducks, which are Muscovies, they don't obsess about water as much as some other kinds of ducks do. They're certainly very into their water. They love to have a bath, and all ducks, no matter what, need to be able to submerge their heads underwater. That's like a health thing. They need to be able to do that to eat and to wash their food down correctly, and to clear out their nostrils. So they'll actually like blow water out of their nostrils to clear them. So no matter if you have a body of water or you plan to do like a kiddie pool or whatever, they always have to have access to water that they can get their head under, even if it's not big enough for them to swim in. The second reason that I prefer to keep my chickens separate is that my chickens are much more susceptible to predators than the Muscovies are. The Muscovies are fully flighted. We opted not to clip their wing feathers, and that's because if anything does come after them while they're out and about, I want them to be able to fly away to safety. And these guys are fully flighted, with the exception of Handsome Jack, who has angel wing, but he will be in the freezer in about a week, so that's kind of a non-issue. But the rest of our ducks are fully flighted. So they fly out of the run every single morning and into a puddle somewhere. We do have a creek on the property. They haven't quite figured out that that is there, but I'm sure once they put 2 and 2 together, they'll be in there all the time. And ducks are just a lot messier than chickens with regard to how much moisture they create. You know, they have an enormous water intake compared to chickens, and that water is gonna come out the other end. Like, chicken poops are like mostly firm, whereas duck poops are like poop puddles. So they're really messy. They messy up the coop a lot faster than chickens do, and chickens really shouldn't be in like high humidity, high moisture environments that can make them really susceptible to upper respiratory issues. So you always want to keep your chickens like clean and dry. You obviously want your ducks to be sleeping somewhere clean and dry too, but ducks are a lot hardier and they're a lot less likely to get sick from being in like a more humid environment. Definitely not condoning not cleaning your duck house. You know, they sleep on the ground for, well, most ducks sleep on the ground their whole lives. Muscovies sleep on the ground for the first few months and then they roost, but you know, you don't want your ducks to be in a filthy environment. That's just asking for problems. Another thing we get asked all the time is why Muscovies, and there's a lot of reasons for that. First and foremost, they come in a ton of different colors. I think there's like 10 different colors, and there's multiple patterns. They can have ripples, they can have barring, pied, self, white cap, like tons of different color variations. And I'm a huge genetics nerd, so I love like learning about the genetics of their different colors and figuring out what kind of breeding project I want to do with them. We're going to be adding a few lilac ducks here in the next week or so, and with the addition of a lilac drake and some lilac hens, we'll be able to produce almost every color that Muscovies come in, which is really exciting to me. The next reason is that Muscovies are roosting ducks, and they are fully flighted. Not all domesticated ducks are fully flighted, but Muscovies are, and they prefer to be up high in trees. I've come out and found ours like sitting on top of our barn, sitting on top of their duck house. I've even seen them try to land in some of the low-hanging oak tree branches. So yeah, I mean, they love to fly. They'll fly if anything startles them, they'll fly away, and that's really beneficial for us with how much predator pressure we have. The next reason is that Muscovies are very, very quiet. I've had them behind me and around me this whole video, and you can barely hear them. Like, the leaves are crunching louder than the sounds that they're making. And we do have 7 acres, but we also have folks living around us. And personally, I feel like we're going to be generating enough noise with the roosters, the pigs, and the goats that we don't need to add ducks on top of it. So I preferred a quieter breed of duck, and Muscovies make almost no noise. The drakes have like a puffing, huffing, hissing kind of sound, and then the hens make this really pretty like trilling, cooing kind of sound. So you have to be like right next to them to hear them. Once in a while, if one of the hens gets upset about something, we will hear a like full quack, but that's like a couple times a week, not even. So they're very, very quiet, which is really nice. Another reason that we decided to go with Muscovies is that they are incredible mothers. They have such a good maternal instinct. They will go broody multiple times a year, raise multiple clutches of ducklings all by themselves with really, really stellar success rates. So if you're looking to be self-sustainable with meat and eggs like we are, that's a really great characteristic for them to have. I have read that they will hatch like up to 4 clutches of like 15 plus eggs every year. So I mean, you can do the math. That adds up really, really quickly, which you do kind of need to be careful of if you are raising them in a confined space. They will multiply prolifically. But that's one reason that we really wanted them, is that we'll be butchering our extra drakes for meat. And Muscovy meat is really more similar to like a steak than it is to other poultry. So it's really, really good for you. It's delicious, and they grow really quickly. The drakes are butchering age within like 12 to 16 weeks, sometimes even earlier. So they're very, very efficient as far as like meat production and things of that nature. And the hens are amazing layers. All of my friends that have Muscovies tell me that they get an egg a day from almost all their hens for the entire spring and summer every year, and like into the fall, which is amazing. The last reason, and probably the most important for me, is that these birds are astounding free rangers. They are so good at foraging. Ours hardly eat any feed. I mean, hardly anything. They free range most of the day. Once we get the chickens fully moved out, they'll be free ranging all day, every day. We have 7 acres, and they will eat just about anything that they can fit into their mouths. I've seen these guys, like, personally witness them eating small snakes, lizards. I've seen them eat yellow jackets. I've seen them eat fire ants, which, if you live in the South, is amazing. I'm like, yes, go eat all of the fire ants, please. They're from South America originally, so they'll just eat really anything. They're tough birds, very hardy, and I love watching them poke around and jump up to get like low-hanging leaves, and they'll even eat like dead tree leaves. They love the maple leaves and the oak leaves that drop down. They love acorns, like really anything that they can reach and fit in their mouths they will eat. So they're very efficient to keep. They pretty much feed themselves and water themselves. They love finding storm puddles, and we have the creek too, which they haven't figured out yet, but I'm sure they'll be spending plenty of time in there once they do. And they're just so fun to have around. They're very, very inquisitive and very smart, and whenever we're out doing stuff, they're always within like 10 yards of us checking out what we're doing. Petunia is like staring at me right now. And they're wonderful for eating both flying mosquitoes and mosquito larvae. Like they'll strain the larvae out of puddles and stuff and standing water around your property, and then they'll also eat the mosquitoes out of the air. I've seen these guys standing still with their heads pointed up, and they're waving back and forth, and they're actually catching gnats and mosquitoes out of the air as they fly by them. So they're incredible foragers, and they're incredible for pest control. And I honestly feel like now that we've got our flock established and we're through the horrifically messy brooder phase, I will never not have these ducks on our farm. They're amazing. Okay, I hope that has like answered most of the questions that y'all have had about the ducks, and has kind of explained the role that they play on the farm and why we chose them and why we love our ducks here. If there's anything that I forgot or didn't mention that you're curious about, please leave it in the comments. I love chatting with y'all here and on Instagram. So definitely give us a follow over there. I'm a photographer. I take and sell stock photos, and so I love capturing beautiful photos around our farm. So I think we've got a pretty great Instagram feed going. Let me know what y'all think, and I will see y'all tomorrow. If you're not already, definitely subscribe and catch all of Vlogmas. I will see y'all tomorrow for day 3. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Oak tree, and in a